displaying the glory of God's creation by exploring America one park at a time. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave, the parks professor. First hole. The par and distance are at the top of your screen. These first few holes basically have the fairway coinciding with an asphalt walking trail, and that raises a large number of issues. It raises a safety issue, although I didn't see that many people on this trail when I played here, and that's a good thing. Also raises issue in terms of damaging your disc, and also in terms of your disc rolling away if you should happen to miss. So I don't like the design of these first few holes. There's the first basket and the view back to the tee. The second hole plays across a shallow but steep ravine. Again, the fairway basically is this asphalt walking trail, but the basket is set off to the right of the walking trail, and to take a direct line to the basket, you have to go through this tight gap between the trees here. Honestly, this would be a really nice hole if it wasn't for that asphalt. I do want to welcome you back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave, the parks professor. We are at Windmill Park. There is the second basket, and the view back down to the tee. The third hole plays straight downhill, and again straight down the walking path, so your disc can really roll away if you get a bad bounce and bad roll on that walking path. This is a nice heavily wooded area. We're in the area behind this park's developed area, the ball fields and such right now. And this is really steep downhill. It's the most downhill hole on the front nine. There's the basket straight ahead. As I mentioned, we're at Windmill Park. This park is owned and maintained by Banks County Parks and Recreation in Banks County, Georgia. And so we are in northeast Georgia. We're about 70 miles northeast of Atlanta. The fourth hole starts on top of this steep grassy mound. And yes, the fairway is going to follow the walking path off into the distance. So we're going to jump down to the bottom of the mound and then head gradually uphill towards the basket. For the shortest route to the basket, you want to keep your disc to the right of this walking path. And you see we're going to finally leave the walking path, then head through the woods here to the basket. And again, this would be a pretty nice hole if it wasn't for that asphalt walking trail there. I just really don't like the way these first few holes are laid out. There's the view back to the tee. The fifth hole is the tightest hole so far. It plays gradually downhill, and it's also a slight dogleg left. Now there is a small creek on the inside of the dogleg here, and I'm going to kind of jimmy around here as I decide what route to take around the dogleg. You don't really want to try to cut that dogleg because of the creek, and also due to the dense woods that are on the inside of the dogleg. There's the basket, and there's the view back uphill to the tee. The sixth hole is the shortest hole on this course. It is slightly uphill, but the only real defense this hole has is this cluster of trees right around the basket. And there's some narrow gaps there, so if you want to try to make an ace on this hole, you've got to really thread it through the gaps. It's kind of a fun challenge, albeit one with a fairly low bar. The seventh hole plays straight down a moderate hill. It plays through this tunnel of trees, although the tunnel is not real tight relative to the length of the hole. The trees here could be quite a bit tighter and this still be a fair hole. I captured this video on Tuesday, November the 14th, and the temperatures were chilly and in the upper 40s when I came here. There was only one other group on the disc golf course, but there were several other users in the park when I came here on that chilly Tuesday afternoon. The eighth hole plays straight up the hill, and it is the most uphill hole on the front nine. This is a heavily wooded area, and there are plenty of trees around, although, again, this isn't super tight for a heavily wooded course. I should say something about the course route. There are 24 holes on this course, and for video purposes, I've divided it into the front 9, the middle 8, and the back 7. You see, there's a tree growing up through this basket here. That tree will need to be exterminated at some point. I guess you can move the basket, but probably they'll just kill the tree. The reason I divided the course the way I did, all of the first 9 holes are heavily wooded. On the 10th hole we'll break out into the open, but not until then. This is the 9th hole and of course the last hole on the front 9. It plays across this shallower and less steep ravine now. And yes, the asphalt walking trail is back. This would be a pretty nice 9 holes without this asphalt trail, but the asphalt trail's here. This is the last hole in the front 9, and so I do want to thank you for watching. Parking full-time would not be anything without the people who watch. I realize that every day, and I thank you every day. That is the end of the front 9. I will see you on the middle 8. Until then, have a great afternoon, take care, and Lord bless.